and it ended up being almost an hour. Miss Claire is, well, there's a lot of people that were involved in the situation that if they hadn't been such fraidy cats, we would have gotten a lot more accomplished. I didn't make them fraidy's cats. And I've noticed that the most honest people tend to be autistic. We don't really have time for your bullshit because you're constantly bullshitting us. Now, as far as the dynamics of my frustration, you notice that many of the things, and you also notice that I typed that it was going to be a discussion. It wasn't going to, with her situation and my situation, both of us being autistic and in survival mode, that conversation there was going to be a conversation in that fashion. And even as muddled as it was, we both understood each other pretty well. And the stuff that was not understood, it's okay, because the longer we work together, the more trust will be built and the more understanding there will be. It does have to be an understanding that, yes, we all have our independent needs. We do need to maintain our independence. There is no need for any one of us to get rid of our vehicle and depend on someone else. All right, I hear a siren, so I'm gonna sit here a minute. It sounds like it's coming down this road, and I really don't want to pull out in front of it. All right, there it goes. Anyway, I do have to go to the bathroom, so that's where I'm traveling on. But there's a lot of stuff, you notice when I said certain things, how it triggered an emotion in her, and it also triggered a memory in her, and she had to spit out that nugget. There was no way to stop it. She had to say it. And that comes from being in a lot of situations where people aren't listening. They're not listening to understand if they are listening. A lot of people listen just to try to find something they can twist into an excuse to do nothing. Now, when she was telling me what I had done wrong, it was a situation where, it had gotten to the point in that situation where I had to do something. People were dying. My predators were literally killing more people, and nobody was doing anything about it, being called mentally ill, and those people got away with it. Almost. I say almost because most of them got in trouble for doing those things to other people later on after they got a big head because they'd gotten away with it. Just like that boy on the playground that you said, oh, he only hits your daughter because he likes her. The reality is he hit her because he thought he'd get away with it, and he got away with it. So he's going to go hitting somebody else now because there's no fucking consequences. I got to pee. I'll be right back. I do want to mention that many of the things that she mentioned, I mention often on my YouTube channel. There are also things that we have professionals in their fields saying on my channel. So obviously Claire is no dummy. She's familiar with a lot of these dynamics that most of you will forever be clueless about. Now, in order to record what's going on, I have to take my recording device and go plug in my computer, and I got to try to get all this done by 2:30. It's 12:16, so that gives me 2 hours. I should be able to do it in that amount of time. I won't be able to panhandle up any money, but hopefully the other two will be able to take care of their gas stuff, at least in part. As far as Claire being denied some of these services, I do feel there's something I can do about that, because I happen to know a bit about her disabilities, and some of them I have myself, and I understand from that perspective a lot of the assistance that she's going to need. When it comes to cops pulling their bullshit, it's tough not to have a fucking outright panic attack when you're the victim and they're talking to you like maybe you done something wrong, like maybe you wanted it a little bit. There's a lot of things that officers nationwide are getting in trouble for because they got recorded saying it. And I'm like, holy shit, they said that and worse on my YouTube channel, and you're doing nothing about those officers. There's also the idea of just letting the past go. Well, you don't get to. Alright? That fucking car accident that you got into is gonna carry over into your insurance, and that insurance is going to deprive you of some of the money that you might need for something more productive in life. Or of course there's that roommate who you had the bills in your name, and of course they didn't pay and didn't pay and didn't pay, and now you're both broke but the bills are in your name, so the fact that neither one of you can afford to pay it is only reflecting on you. People don't stop to think about how that affects your future. Or of course, when you got something on the internet, you guys seem to think, oh well, between me and my Facebook friends, no. That is a situation than what I'm dealing with. It's not just Facebook friends. The people that I've been targeted by because of news media and because of web sleuth shows and so-called true crime that couldn't, well, I don't know why they call themselves true crime. They don't bother to find out if what's coming out of their mouths is true or not. And they don't bother to think about how that affects millions of other people. When you try painting one autistic person as a schizophrenic fucking murderer, and you don't fucking let up on that shit, and you never let them fucking defend themselves against that shit, well, that just allows you to push that on other people too. Oh, everybody must be fucking, every autistic person must be retarded. Every autistic person must be violent. Autistic people are this, autistic people are that. Fuck you. Get to know me, motherfucker. Now, the things these other people are going through, I am mindful of those things. A lot of times people will shove shit back in my face that I express as concern on my YouTube channel. Yes, I'm afraid of this happening. Especially if it's something that happens often and primarily because of human nature. Human nature is what it is. Now, with some of these folks, I can understand how Tabby, being a bigger woman, how it is about sex. I can understand for a lot of other people how it's about a little of both. I don't understand is not keeping the schedule. If you're a no-call, no-show, that fucking sucks. With Claire, until she had that situation where her phone was off, well, she was not a no-call, no-show. She let me know. And I also spoke out on my channel about how much I respect that. Why wouldn't I? I'm over here at the Fred Meyer's, and I have decided this is way too many people for me. So I am going to flip a bitch, and I'm going to go to the other Starbucks. With Casey as well, he listened quite well. Also, both of them are understanding of the fact that, well, this time around, me trying to speak is in a state of crisis. Whereas prior to this, I would have been able to sit down and explain everything numbered as a template and timeline. But, you know, the longer it goes on, the more anxiety I have and the more afraid I'm not going to be heard and the more resources I'm spending. And both of them were able to pantomime that back at me. Both of them understand that dynamic, and also both of them have experienced that dynamic. When it comes to prioritizing which one of us is going to get help first, it's not going to be who gets help first. It's going to be all of us. There are certain parts of these dynamics that are things that need to be changed within our government and within our people. And outreach is the most important part of that. Letting people know who you are, what you do, and speaking out. If there's anything more important than speaking out, I don't know what it is. Before you can get it into court or get it to the media, you have to have people who are willing to speak out. People who aren't going to go hide in the corner like rats. A lot of people want to call me a rat for telling the truth. I'm like, shit, you're a rat for scurrying and hiding. You say you're going to do something about child molesters. Well, what did you do about child molesters? That's what I want to know. Now, the three most important things right now are turning in that situation with Ted Bollinger as far as human trafficking goes. There's a couple of other situations similar to that. One of them is Jamie there in Hood River. The other one is me being drugged there in Hood River and everything since. That shit is inhumane and it needs to not happen. And for the quote-unquote professionals to look the other way the way that they do is fucking revolting. It's gross. It's icky. It's Luke Skywalker kissing his sister gross. When it comes to people who are autistic, we have pretty universal experiences in a lot of things. Like people's assumptions, you know, once they hear that we're wired differently, they rewire words into my wires are crossed. No, your wires are crossed. You're the one who's fucking twisting words into something they ain't. Don't be a dummy. All right, we're at the Starbucks here. I know what I'm gonna be pulling out for right now. I will have to come up with more money to come back tomorrow. Hopefully Claire will have her vehicle up and running by tomorrow. We might be able to, if we can pull it off, get up to a camp at some point this evening and actually have a few days rest and respite, and I can make my project and maybe have some help. Also, I don't know how to express this to you. If it wasn't for this fucking being a serious anxiety situation, and with her having hers be a serious anxiety situation, and for good reason, And of course, him with the anxiety, his vehicle is a fucking gas guzzler. You know, we're a lot of fun. And I really wish that we could have recorded the conversation last night between he and I when we spoke for 30 minutes and didn't say shit. It was just 30 minutes of useless banter. You know how we end these. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.